Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. This is First Timothy 5, okay, part 2. But the widow who lives for pleasure is dead, even while she lives, right? First Timothy 5:6. So these people, all these females out there are living for pleasure, not just sexual pleasure, right? But also financial pleasure. We see on TikTok the masses of females there. They're promoting some cologne or some clothing. They're in some new age culture, some fake Christian culture. Again, this is not harassment or bullying or being divisive. This is correcting these people and these cultures about their immorality. Any site that doesn't allow that is pure evil. If you don't allow me to say, hey, you might not want to drink too much in a bar, okay, by yourself. And they say, well, that's my culture. We're some kind of feminists that want to show that anything men can do, that we can do. And then TikTok says, I'm going to take down your video because you're criticizing their culture and that's being divisive. That's wrong, right? And even if I know they're going to take down all my videos, I'm going to keep proceeding in a way that is right, first and foremost, but also doesn't break their laws using a logical scale. Until their rules on their site become too unfair, then I'm just going to stop posting altogether. I'm sure we can all agree that that's fair. Okay. Give the people these instructions so that no one may be open to blame. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Now again, providing who, when, where, how, why. At that time, it was before the mark of the beast, which is this time. There was still a way, and it was very difficult, but it was still there. There's a way to beg for bread. There's a way to work odd jobs to provide for their families. The blacklisting then wasn't as bad as it is now. Okay? However, there's a way to do it now if you move masterfully, especially if you rally and team up with me. If people see a large group of people protesting for moral precision, okay, even now with all the harshness going on in California and America, they're inclined to help them out. Okay, you have people asking for donations. Now, let's say 100 people came to me in Santa Clara County and we're protesting in downtown Morgan Hill, by the post office, by the city hall, in downtown San Jose, what have you. And a lot of people are livid, right? They're full of hatred. They can't stand it. And nobody is giving us donations. Are we better off assimilating? No. Why? Because that society is that evil that they would see people rallying for what is right and moral precision and for what is logically better than every culture on the planet. And they refuse to assist and they blacklist, they move against us. That's hell. And if you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't find your life in the world, much less the world that's going to hell to that degree, that is in hell to that degree. Give the people these instructions so that no one may be open to blame. Anyone who does not provide for, okay, went over that. No widow may be put on the list of widows unless she is over 60, has been faithful to her husband, and is well known for her good deeds, such as bringing up children, showing hospitality, washing the feet of the Lord's people, helping those in trouble, and devoting herself to all kinds of good deeds. Now, if they can't be put on the list of widows unless they have these deeds, and no preacher has ever said that he's wrong that I've ever heard of, and I'm sure that it's the same with you, then how can you say don't judge people by their actions? Okay, the people who get that from Matthew 7 are crazy. It says, first remove the log from your own eye. What Paul's saying is, since Timothy has removed the log from his own eye, and he's accepting that instruction that he's arguing comes from God through Paul to Timothy, that he can then judge people, and him and anyone like him, by their deeds to the point where he can not allow them to be on the widow's list. This is somebody whose husband is dead and they need assistance. He said, we're not going to help you with our limited resources. We're only going to help those who are known for their good deeds in reality. Not a hypocrite, but in reality. Not some kind of white supremacist game like we see in America, but in reality. Not token minorities, reality. Not gang members for no higher cause, reality. You can have been a gang member. Heck, I hung out with gang members. Wisdom is proven by her deeds, right? The Son of Man came eating and drinking, but wisdom is proven right by her deeds. But if you have no higher cause, or your so-called higher cause is of the church and is mere white social norms, human rules, customs, and traditions and psychology, then you don't have deeds. So she's well known for her deeds. She brings up children the right way, not women that shun me, okay, for wicked people. She shows hospitality. She washes the feet of the Lord's people, so to speak, and she helps those in trouble and devotes herself to all kinds of good deeds. That's the person who deserves assistance. Society has this backwards, where all the wicked are elevated and I'm shunned and blacklisted for being Christ. As for younger widows, do not put them on such a list. For when their sensual desires overcome their dedication to Christ, they want to marry. What did it say flat out here? All of you write down 1 Timothy 5:11. Anytime a female who calls herself Christian complains about my argument about them shunning me for wicked guys, point them to 1 Timothy 5:11 and ask them, why didn't they already understand that's right? Why don't you judge for yourselves what is right? Why didn't you already know? Right, Proverbs 11:22, a beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout, is one translation of it. Why did you reject good sense? Why did you let yourself be a pig, in deep inside? As for younger widows, do not put them on such a list. Why? Because for when their sensual desires, erotic desire, flesh-based desire, something that is not, does not grounded in obeying God through me, is, true love comes from justice, moral precision, righteousness. Not mere lust, oh, she's kind of hot, or he's kind of hot, and he's got money, he's financially stable. That's sick. That's being some kind of prostitute. That is the whore that rode the beast with all kinds of fine jewels and precious metals, drunk off the blood of the good guys she threw under the bus for a bunch of scum. And don't let some government shill try to define for you what a good guy is. He's in the military. He's a good guy. No. But he has a job. No. But he goes to church. No. Those people are Satanists. They're not obeying God through me. And what you're citing as proof that they're a good guy is just demon activity. Hypocrites at best. As for younger widows, do not put them on such a list, for when their sensual desires overcome their dedication to Christ, their loyalty to me, right? Principle, justice, righteousness. Okay? When their desire to have the kind of guy they want to have sex with and who's financially stable overcomes their desire to be moral when they date, they want to marry. And these are widows that the argument is being made here that shouldn't be married after their husband died, right? Thus they bring judgment on themselves because they have broken their first pledge. Besides, they get into the habit of being idle and going about from house to house. And not only do they become idlers, but also busybodies who talk nonsense, saying things they ought not to, like trying to contradict me when I'm obviously right. Okay, keep in mind that Paul then contradicts himself to some degree, but he doesn't, right? He's basically saying that a younger widow shouldn't marry for the wrong reasons. However, almost certainly she shouldn't marry. I'll go ahead and say that. So in verse 14 where it says, so I counsel younger widows to marry, to have children, to manage their homes, and to give the enemy no opportunity for slander. When you put this in the context of that, right, what then happens, again, I don't read it, I don't kind of go over the chapter and say, hey, let me make sure it's consistent with what he's trying to say. No, I correct the Bible. I said many times the Bible is Bible, right? Anyway, so those of you are like, oh, he's changed his mind, I didn't change my mind. Okay? Younger women, and I decided to upload this. This is not a speech I'm giving to people that's recorded. Okay? I'm going to upload this in spite of the fact that I seem to be saying something else at the time. Okay? But I'm saying no widow should get married. Because when he said that they're breaking the first pledge, okay, that's key here. In the absence of a priceless argument as to why it's okay, like marrying me or someone, every other female won't do the right thing, right? In the absence of something like that, they shouldn't get married. And he's the type of guy who he gives people passes that he shouldn't necessarily give them, right? He compromises, and you see that in his letters. Okay. So I counsel younger widows to marry, to have children, to manage their homes, and give the enemy no opportunity for slander. Some have in fact already turned away to follow Satan. If any woman who is a believer has widows in her care, she should continue to help them and not let the church be burdened with them, so that the church can help those widows who are really in need. The elders who direct the affairs of the church well are worthy of double honor, especially those who work in preaching and teaching. For Scripture says, do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain, and the worker deserves his wages. So I'm going to stop there. The next video I'm going to make is going to be almost entirely about that phrase. The worker deserves his wages, because the world doesn't understand this. Even the wicked person who knows what it's getting at to a large degree doesn't wrap their mind around it, or else they wouldn't be wicked. You know them by their fruits. Their fruits give away what they understand, their deeds, their works.